Narito ang mga pangunahing balita sa loob at labas ng bansa. Tinagid at kinalap ng Agila News Team. Agila Balita!
Narito ang balita. Mga individual mula sa North America, ibinahagi ang kanilang kontribusyon sa pag-aalaga sa kapaligiran. Sa Washington, D.C., alamin ang kwento ng pagkukwento sa museum. Sa Canada, malahiganting mga truck pinaandara ng Vancouver. Sa Florida streetcar ng Tampa, nagdudulot ng nakakaaliw na biyahe. At sa Hawaii naman, Gobernador Ige pinuri ang mga Pinoy sa pagpapausad ng diversidad habang pinagyayaman ang kultura.
Agila Balita!
Magandang araw. Ako si Myla Simbulan at itong Agila Balita, Washington, D.C.
Agila Balita!
Kamakailan, daan-daang mga lungsod sa buong mundo, malalaki man o maliliit ang nakiisa sa Earth Hour, kung saan pinatay ang ilaw sa loob ng 1 oras upang ikampanya ang kaalaman tungkol sa pagbabago ng klima o climate change. Kinapanayam ng Agila Balita ang ilang individual mula sa Hilagang Amerika at inalam kung paano nila pinangangalagaan ang kapaligiran bukod sa simbolikong pagpatay ng ilaw 1 oras sa 1 taon. Panoorin natin ito.
We do a lot of recycling at home, like with our cardboard. We take in our bottles all the time. We try our best to compost too. And to encourage others, we just tell them to do it. It's good for the environment, and it's a good practice, especially for future generations.
So I make sure to separate the cardboard with like garbage and food into like recycling and trash, and how I encourage people is I like help people do it.
And for Earth Hour, I will turn off the lights in my room for 1 hour.
For Earth Hour, I'm going to turn off my switch for a whole hour.
The things that I do to help preserve the environment are by recycling water bottles, cans, and glass bottles. And I'm also aware of where I throw away my food and where I throw away my trash, and then I also conserve energy. The way that I help others also preserve the environment is by constantly reminding them that there are a lot of ways to actually preserve the environment. Easy stuff just like carpooling and even using reusable containers.
I preserve energy mostly because I was trained as a kid to turn off all the lights when it wasn't in use. I preserve like water, so like when washing dishes, brushing my teeth, and lessening the time in the shower, because who needs that much time in the shower? And also my grandma really helps me out. She encourages everyone to get solar panels, and yeah. So I really see a lot of people littering, and so when I see it and I can control it, I definitely tell them. I definitely go out of my way to throw it away myself if they're too lazy or anything. For example, I went to a concert and this girl was holding her water bottle and she was like, "Do you mind if I put it on the floor?" And I was like, "Nope, I mind. I will throw it away for you." Yeah, littering is terrible. Also, being mindful about where trash goes, like separating it, so recycling, trash, compost, being able to like know where everything goes and separating it, even if I can help someone else do it, I feel like that is a great impact on everyone else as well.
I try my best to recycle as much as I can, and also like washing my car when it's raining outside, and also watering my plants in the afternoon. Also trying to prevent people from producing waste like littering and throwing trash out in the freeways. I encourage my boyfriend to recycle because they drink a lot of water, a lot of bottled waters, and I also encourage my little brothers to. It makes it fun for them to squash all the cans, and then they make it an activity, so it's more fun for them.
Quite a bit I try to do. I know at home there's a lot I've been learning from my wife and from friends about composting. So we do have a compost bin, and we also try to recycle as much as we can. The other thing that I've been noticing more that helps a lot is actually, now that I have to worry about my electricity bill, is I turn off my power strips before I go to bed and when I go out for long trips, and that actually saves quite a bit on the energy bill. Other things I try to do is I use a toaster oven instead of our full oven when I try to bake meals for just myself, just so it doesn't take as much energy to heat up or as long. Outside of the house, let's see. I try to take the public transit. It kills two birds with one stone. I don't have to worry about parking, but it also, I just go on public transit so I don't drive my own car, have to waste the gas. And I just don't like idling too. So when I go up to the city, I know there's a lot of places where I'm just stopped at a red light or just waiting for traffic. So,
as an inhabitant of the earth, I would pick up any kind of trash I see from the ground and make sure that it goes in the right container. If it's a recyclable item, then I would want to put it into like a blue container. Or if it's just, tissues or any kind of, junk that needs to be thrown away in a regular trash can, then yes, I would make sure to put that in the right proper place.
Some of the things I do to help the environment is by recycling, sorting out my trash, making sure everything goes to where it's supposed to go when you're getting rid of the trash. That would be lead by example. So I make sure that if I'm recycling, I show people, hey, I'm grabbing all these cans, putting in the recycling bin, making sure all the paper is gathered in one corner for paper recycling.
Well, we recycle at work, and I use reusable straws, reusable utensils like forks, knives, and spoons. I have like a little pack that I use, so that's what I do. We typically will carpool to volleyball together, and that's like 3 to 5 times a week maybe. So we save gas. We recycle at home together, and I'm trying to encourage my coworkers to also get reusable utensils since we have plastic ones at work right now, so we should be using the reusable ones.
Yung pong pagtitipid ng mga everyday things na ginagamit po natin. Kagaya po kapag namamalengke po ako, nagdadala po ako ng reusable bag, at yun po ang ginagamit ko instead of yung mga plastic po na ginagamit natin sa grocery store.
Personally, I haven't heard about Earth Hour, but to preserve the environment, I would cut off the water while brushing my teeth or cut off the lights in rooms that I'm not in. And to encourage others to do it, I would tell them about it and also practice it around them.
To help to preserve the environment, I'm pretty much what I normally do is put things in a recycle bin where it's needed, plastic where it's needed, papers where it's needed, especially at school. So in order to help others, I would probably be a leader to lead that, and I would pretty much let people know that the environment is needed because it's the earth that we live in. So yeah, I would tell others as well that to preserve the environment, to keep things recycled, and to put things where it's needed. So that's how I would do it, and I would just continue to be a leader to lead others to recycle.
I recycle anything that is able to recycle, and when I go grocery shopping, I use reusable bags, stuff like that. Things that you can reuse, like reusable cups and reusable straws, all those things. Here at our job, I typically have the kids collect stuff for like arts and crafts projects instead of going out and buying unnecessary things that you have at home, like toilet paper rolls and like just all stuff like that. They come here and they have them, and you can reuse them and make arts and crafts projects, and typically the parents keep them till the kids are in their 30s, so you have it for a very long time.
To help to preserve the environment, a lot of things I do is recycling. So everybody in our neighborhood has a recycling bin, and we always make sure that at least we try to put effort of filling our recycling bin to the top, because some people don't even use it. Another thing we do is always unplug our electricity stuff. It actually saves us a lot of power and money. So every time we leave, we always try to unplug and stuff like that. How I encourage people is just by trying. It takes one little step to make a difference. So if you don't usually pick up trash, pick up trash. If you don't usually recycle, try recycling. It's actually really rewarding to help the environment knowing that you live in it, so you want to stay in it.
I make sure I never leave the water on while brushing my teeth. That is very important. Also, when I'm in a room, if I leave the room, I make sure to turn off the lights. And then turn them back on when I come back in, because that's also important as well. Those are 2 simple things you can do. Also, reusable water bottles are your best friend. Also, bags are really great for storage. So, there are plenty of ways to save the earth if you just think about it and keep it simple.
As much as possible, I like to use natural light when I'm in my house. I don't like leaving the lights on at night. I make sure all of them are off before I go to bed. I turn off the faucet when I brush my teeth so I don't waste that water. As much as possible, my parents and I try to recycle when we can.
So they're pretty big. We recycle a lot. We try our best to turn the lights off whenever we're done using them. And whenever we go on trips, we unplug TVs and devices. And
I encourage my friends to recycle and pick up trash. And I also encourage my friends at church to do the same.
Susunod, dadali namin kayo sa museum upang alamin ang kwento ng pagkukwento. Diyan lang kayo magbabalik ang Agila Balita, Washington, D.C.
Agila Balita. Agila Balita.
Kayo ay nanonood pa rin ng Agila Balita, Washington, D.C. Ako si Myla Simbulan. Nais ba niyong malaman ang kasaysayan ng pagbabalita at kung paanong pinaglaban ng mga nauna sa atin ang mga kalayaang ating tinatamasa ngayon? Samahan natin si Eliza Gonzalez maglikmot sa kanyang pagpasyal sa museum.
Ang pagbabalita ay hindi na bagong bagay. Dito sa museum sa Washington, D.C., ang misyon ay dagdagan ang pangunawa ng publiko tungkol sa kalayaan sa pamamahayag at kung paanong ito ay ginagamit ngayon. Sinasabing kung ang Washington, D.C. ay gising, ang mundo ay gising. At kung mundo ay gising, ang pagbabalita ay dilat na dilat din. Nakapwesto sa pagitan ng White House at ng U.S. Capitol ang museum, isang lugar kung saan ikinukwento ang kwento ng pamamahayag, mula sa telegraph, sa radyo, sa telebisyon at sa social media ngayon. Binubuo ng 6 na palapag at ng 12 ng atraksyon, ani PR Director Sonia Gavankar, may dahilan kung bakit pandalawang araw ang tiket para sa museyong ito.
There is so much to see, and I've worked for this organization for almost 20 years, and even I haven't seen everything and heard all the stories that it holds. There are definitely some highlights, some top 10s. The Berlin Wall, for instance, on our concourse level. Half of our visitors that come to the museum are school-aged children, so the Cold War is ancient history to them. So getting them to understand the freedoms afforded to the people in West Berlin, and then on the other side, communist on the east, seeing the graffiti on the west side, seeing that color, seeing that expression, and then going on to the east side to see it all stark, really explains freedom of expression and the rights afforded in the First Amendment. And as you go through the entire space, there are so many little moments of that. We do look at the history of the world through news coverage. So just here in our Pulitzer Prize exhibit, you see those moments that you think, I remember where I was when that happened. And it starts a conversation on the freedoms of that First Amendment, the 5 freedoms that are on the front of our building in stone. We have the Today's Front Pages gallery that's out in the front of the building. That's the newspapers from around the world today. So we are looking at ancient history and present. We have actually in our gallery here in the kiosks behind me, we have actually all of the Pulitzer Prize winning photos that have ever been taken, as well as interviews with all of the winners. We have the highlight moments of history. We have the highlights and the lowlights, the most saddest, gut-wrenching moments, but also some moments of absolute pure victory. This is from the 1993 Olympics. What I love about this photo is the celebration. They're looking so happy. But when you think, like, what have these women won? They've actually won the bronze medal. This is the excitement over the bronze medal. So it's so wonderful to see. This is what the Olympics are. It's the whole world coming together in sport. This is actually a picture taken by Carol Guzzi. She is the most winningest Pulitzer Prize winner in the history of the competition, and a woman. Kind of great. This is an incredible photo taken during the Kosovo refugee crisis. This is, again, a story about war, but a story of happiness during war. These are families separated by barbed wire, but passing the child across them so they can actually share this happy moment of reuniting as a family. So the joy and sadness that's brought out in war. This is the Oklahoma City, an image from the Oklahoma City bombing that happened in 1996. This is one of the few images that was actually taken by not a professional news photographer. This gentleman was actually a wedding photographer, had his equipment in the back of his car on the day of the Oklahoma City bombing, ran to get his equipment and took this incredible photo. There's a lot of conversation, especially in journalism classrooms, on ethically, should this photo have been taken? And you look at the bright colors, you see the blood on the child, you think, is this an image that should be in newspapers? But then you think back to as recently as the Vietnam War and Nick Ut's famous image of what is commonly referred to as Napalm Girl, fully nude, full frontal nude image of a girl whose village was bombed by napalm, and she's running through the streets with absolute terror. So all of these moments we discuss, we talk about why journalists took the picture, how editors helped put it on the front page, repercussions that happened, and why it was a right or wrong choice. In this case, there's a great conversation in our kiosks in the interview of how the photographer took the picture and how the mother felt about having the image taken.
Binibigyan ng Touch and Explore feature ang mga bisitang hirap makakita upang maranasan din nila ang museo.
Tactile experiences in a lot of places in the museum, where you can actually touch and feel. Not only can you read the caption here in Braille, but you can actually experience what that photo feels like. So if you have low sight or low vision, you can actually experience it here as well. And we have several of those images up. We also right now have an exhibit on the Marines in Tet. So the famous Battle of Vietnam 50 years ago. Many of those images have been reproduced as tactile experiences for low-sighted people.
Kabilang natampok na atraksyon ng museo ay ang interactive newsroom kung saan binibigyang pagkakataon ang mga bisita na magkunwang reporter o camera operator. Ang seksyon ng Pictures of the Year naman ay nagdi-display ng 7 dekada ng award-winning photographs. Mapapanood naman sa Smith Big Screen Theater ang mga breaking at minu-minutong pagbabalita. Ayon kay Gavan Carr, ang pagpapahayag ay isang larangang hinuhubog ng panahon. Layunin ng museo na ilathala ang mga paghubog na ito para sa susunod na henerasyon.
It's such a changing landscape, and we cover the history of that in our TV, internet, and radio gallery. We look at that electronic news. So going back to the radio coverage, how that affected news broadcasts, and then looking at social media, how everybody now has a phone in their hand that can record, be a camera. You don't have to carry around all this equipment anymore. So what does that mean for reporters, and what does that mean for the general public? How we can use social media as a tool to find out if there is a tip coming in, but how we can't really use Twitter to be a news media that we can actually, it's not a source. So getting people to understand that is part of our job. And because many of our employees here at the museum come from a journalism background, we really understand how to tell that story in a very different way. We're not looking at ancient history. We are in some places, we're looking at ancient history, but in the majority of our galleries, we're looking at how news is covered today, right now.
Sa panahon ngayon na halos lahat ay may smartphone, hindi na nakapagtataka na marami ang nagiging instant photographers o litratista. Sabi ni Gavan Carr, ang mahalagay kadalasan ay ang paghuli ng sandali at kung paanong maikukwento ito sa pamamagitan ng mga imahe.
With Instagram, everybody's almost like an award-winning photographer. How that affects coverage. One of the questions we always ask our Pulitzer Prize winners is, what kind of camera do you use? And some will say, my phone is not a camera, my phone is a phone. And some will say, the best camera I have is the one that's with me. So it could be a phone, it could be all of their, famous equipment. We actually have a selection of the famous cameras that were used to take Pulitzer Prize winning images just down here. So you see, it can be an old time camera, it can be a digital camera, the evolution of that. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. It depends on the person who's taking the picture. It's how that person sees the moment, captures the moment, and how the artistry of that picture. Sometimes it's about time and place, but oftentimes it's about the imagery that they're capturing.
Ang impormasyon ngayon ay nanggagaling sa di mabilang na mga source, kung kaya't ang makatotohanang pagbabalita ay napakahalaga para maipagtanggol ang mga kalayaang ating tinatamasa. Ang pagbabalita ay hindi na bagong bagay. Dito sa museum, mararanasan ng mga bisita ang kasaysayan ng pagbabalita at ang bahagi nito sa mga makasaysayang pangyayari sa pamamagitan ng interactive exhibits na nagkukwento ng kwento ng pagkukwento. Mula rito sa museum sa Washington, D.C., ako si Eliza Gonzalez Manglikmot para sa Agila Balita, 1 with 25.
Salamat, Eliza. Sa aming pagbabalik, sa Canada, malahiganting mga truck pinaandara ng Vancouver. Sa Florida streetcar ng Tampa, nagdudulot ng nakakaaliw na biyahe. Tutok lang, magbabalik ang Agila Balita, Washington, D.C.
Agila Balita!
Ito ang Agila Balita, Washington, D.C. Ang tinatawag na monster trucks ay yung pickup trucks na may malahiganting mga gulong at kumakarera sa mga magagaspang na daan. Kadalasan sila ay pinapakilala sa mga show kung saan sinasagasaan nila ang mas maliliit na mga sasakyan. Kakatakot, di ba? O na-excite ba kayo? Samahan natin si Agila reporter Thomas Likeness sa nakalululang monster truck jam sa Vancouver kung saan ang mga naglalaki ang sasakyan ay nagpakain ng alikabok sa mga naroroon. Thomas?
Where I live in Alberta, Canada, pickup trucks are probably the biggest selling vehicle. One of the reasons is a lot of people like to drive off-road, take on the challenges of a rough terrain. But the pickups that I drive and others drive, well, they're nothing compared to the trucks you are about to see. These driving machines are called monster trucks, and monsters they are. Recently in Vancouver at the Monster Truck Jam, the drivers of these 5,000 kilogram plus machines took part in a competition that tested their skills. For the drivers, this is personal. They even name their machines. Tyler Meninga is behind the wheel of the Gravedigger. He talks passionately about his ride.
It's been around for 37 years, since 1982. Yeah. Dennis Anderson created it, and it's a legacy that's been carried on by drivers like myself ever since. So he retired about a year and a half ago, and we're here to carry on the legacy for him.
But Tyler, what's under the hood?
It's a big block Chevrolet. It's a 540. It's got 1,500 horsepower. Obviously the 66-inch BKT tires here. The shocks with tons of travel compared to like your normal minivan or something like that. Just outrageous. So also the truck has rear steer too. So you'd think it had 2 steering wheels, but it doesn't. We got a steering wheel to steer the front and then a toggle switch to steer the rear. Bump the toggle whichever way you want to steer, let it go, it comes right back straight for you.
Meninga says spectators are wowed by the stunts these drivers can perform.
We can put these trucks on the nose, balance them up there for a little bit, walk them backwards. The tricks we're doing with the trucks lately is just crazy.
Canadian driver Cam McQueen pilots the Northern Nightmare, the only Canadian entry on the monster truck circuit.
And it was built specifically for the Canadian fans. It was designed by Canadians. Even the name was chosen by a Canadian family out in Ontario.
McQueen says these trucks don't come cheap.
Put it this way, you could probably buy about 7 or 8 minivans for the price of a Monster Jam truck. But yeah, the cost varies. Typically a couple $100,000 will get you into something that can compete with what we run, and depending on your parts usage and damage throughout the season, there's a lot of upkeep as well.
As well as their power, size, and maneuverability, these trucks are flashy, almost like a Philippine jeepney. Maybe if I got some artwork done on my ride, I could compete. Nah, I don't think so. Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News, I'm 1 with 25.
Salamat, Thomas. Ano kaya kung maninuhin ko ang monster truck para mag-grocery? O kaya panghatid sa school para sa mga bata? Winner! Mula sa mga nakakamanghang truck, bumiyahe tayo papuntang Florida kung saan isang mas simple at mas nakaka-relax na sasakyan ang nag-aabang sa atin. Narito sina Abby Aragon at Angelo Corpus.
Everyone. In almost every metropolitan city in the U.S., you will find various forms of public transportation, from standard forms like buses or trains to enhanced forms like water taxis or mobility rentals. Every city offers great amenities.
So here in downtown Tampa, we decided to take the historical route and ride the Tico Line streetcar. So let's check it out.
Yes, it's 2019, and one can easily get on their mobile phones and order an Uber or Lyft ride. But if you're ever visiting, why not try and fit in with the locals and tour the city the old-fashioned way? According to the website, Tampa's Tico Line streetcar is the city's oldest form of public transportation. Built and operated in 1885, the streetcar system started off with wood-burning steam engines under the Tampa Street Railway Company. Then, in 1893, the company merged with the Florida Electric Company so that the streetcars would run on electricity. One buyout after another for several years, the Tampa Electric Company finally acquired about 53 miles of street tracks in 1913. The Tico Line streetcar system finally ceased operations after World War II, despite carrying almost over 24 million passengers. However, in 2002, the Heritage Line revived in the streets of Tampa due to special taxes on local businesses. Eventually, the Hillsborough Area Rapid Transit was funded a $2.7 million grant from the Florida Department of Transportation to service the Tico Line streetcar operations, so anyone can ride it for free.
Signing off from Tampa Bay, Florida, I'm Angelo Corpus.
And I'm Abby Aragon.
And we're always one with 25.
Salamat Abby at Angelo. Sa aming pagbabalik, Gobernador Ige pinuri ang mga Pinoy sa pagpapausad ng diversidad habang pinagyayaman ng kultura. Huwag kayong aalis, magbabalik ang Agila Balita, Washington, D.C.
Agila Balita! Agila Balita!
Kayo ay nanonood pa rin ng Agila Balita, Washington, D.C. Ako si Myla Simbulan. Sa Hawaii, dadalhin tayo ni Agila reporter Reyna Robles sa Turnbull kung saan ang yaman ng kulturang Filipino sa Aloha State ay hindi makakaila. Ayon kay Gobernador David Ige, ang mga Pinoy ang siyang lakas sa likod ng entrepreneurship na daan sa paglikha ng trabaho. Narito ang report.
We're here celebrating the 65th anniversary and the 45th annual Turtle Ball, brought to you this evening by the Hawaii Filipino Women's Club and Associates.
All the ramparts we walked, once again we stream. Makuhalani kamehamehae.
Ang taunang pagtitipon ay ginanap kamakailan sa Alamoana Hotel malapit sa Waikiki. Kabilang sa mga layunin ng Filipino Women's Club Foundation ay ang pakikipagkaisa sa mga community service projects sa Hawaii, ang pagtataguyod ng mga tradisyong Pilipino at maging ang pagtataguyod ng pansariling pag-uunlad ng kanilang mga miyembro. Pinoy man o dayuhan, ipinagmalaki ng mga dumalo ang kanilang formal attire sa tunay na tradisyong Pilipino. Barong Tagalog sa mga kalalakihan habang terno naman sa mga kababaihan. Sa aming panayam kay Hawaii Governor David Ige, ipinamalas ang kanyang kagalakan sa patuloy na pagtatagumpay ng mga Pilipino sa Hawaii at maging ang kanilang kontribusyon sa ikauunlad ng Estado sa mga nakaraang taon.
It truly is a celebration of the traditional barong and turnos that is so much a signature of the Filipino community here in the islands. And it's just so wonderful to see the community celebrating the traditional dresses of the Philippines. So many of them have found success here in the islands. You know, we've had Filipinos serve on the Supreme Court. We've had a Filipino-American governor. They have been so successful in virtually every industry that they've undertaken, from healthcare to home care, to businesses. You know, they are the drivers of the entrepreneurial spirit that is so important to create the jobs. I just want to say aloha and mabuhay.
Para sa mga dumalo, halatang hindi mapigil ang kanilang kasiyahan. Nagbabalita mula sa Honolulu, Hawaii, ako si Reyna Robles. I am 1 with 25.
Mahalo, Reyna. At iyan ang Agila Balita, Washington, D.C. Samahan niyo kaming muli sa susunod na Lunes para sa isa na namang malamang edisyon, puno ng impormasyon mula sa aming mga bureau sa buong mundo. Bisitahin ang aming mga website, Eaglenews.PH at Eaglenewslive.com. Sundan kami sa Facebook.com/Eaglenewsph at sa Twitter.com/Eaglenewsph. Salamat sa panonood. Ako si Myra Simbulang, laging 1 with 25. Tutok lang, magbabalik ang Agila Balita.
Sumainyo ang mga balitang kinarap, maingat na isinulat at inihanay ng Eagle News Service. Agila Balita.